What's up guys, I'm John from BUZI Sports. This will be the first of many videos to come from this channel, many being discussion type videos like this, mainly around the NBA but also mixing in topics from the NFL, NHL, and MLB. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The top two picks in this past year's NBA draft were heavily impressing many around the NBA during their rookie campaigns. Although the national media and many fans want you to believe that Zion is far and away better than Ja Morant, as former AAU teammates and draftees, this connection is expected to follow both of them throughout their careers. However, I personally believe there is a case to be made that Ja Morant is better than Zion, and will be better than Zion throughout their careers. I'd also like to first make it clear that I think both of these players are exceptionally special and could both have amazing NBA careers, both finding themselves in stardom. I could be wrong about my opinions, but for now, this is just how I feel and how I see it. First, let's talk some stats from both of these teams and players before we go on to what makes both of these players unique. So, as we all know now, the Grizzlies and the Pelicans were picking first and second respectively in the NBA draft, with Zion Williamson going first in the NBA draft and Ja Morant going second in the NBA draft. They were able to do this through a very, very piss-poor season from both of them in 2018-19, with the Grizzlies having a record of 33-49 and the Pelicans having a record of exactly that, 33-49. However, in 2019-20, some things have changed for both teams. The Pelicans, most notably making the Anthony Davis trade, receiving Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and Josh Hart from the Lakers, with many first-round picks in return as well. They've also signed J.J. Redick and Derek Favors in the offseason. Meanwhile, the Grizzlies team is really not looking that much different, with one key piece that they added in the offseason. That is Ja Morant. Now let's look at what they were doing before the NBA took its hiatus for the coronavirus. In 2019-20, the Grizzlies had a record of 32-33, which you may notice is one win less than they had all season last year, with still 17 games to play. Meanwhile, the Pelicans have a struggling record of 28-36, which, to be fair to them, is still a better pace than they were on last year, but still nowhere near where the Grizzlies are in that playoff hunt. Many people that you will have this argument with about Ja and Zion will just show you the stats and say, look at the stats, it just clearly shows Zion leads Ja in almost every statistical category. But they seem to forget every time that Zion, throughout his NBA career, has only played 19 games in the NBA, and for me, I feel like that is not a big enough sample size to be judging a player and, hyping him up to this degree where we are all thinking. I've talked to some people who think he's even a top 10 player in the NBA right now, and that's just completely ridiculous. Ja, meanwhile, has played 59 games in the NBA, which is a much larger sample size than Zion. So let's talk about some stats here. Ja is averaging around 17.6 points per game this season, with around 7 assists and 3.5 rebounds a game, shooting 49.1% from the field and 36.7% from three at around 3 attempts a game. Zion is averaging 23.6 points, 22.2 assists, 6.8 rebounds, a very, very good, may I add, 59% from the floor, and his three-point percentage right now is not available because he has not shot enough threes to be counted in that statistical category. Another thing that I look at to evaluate both of these players is, as a young point guard, you would expect for Ja Morant to have multiple turnovers a game, which obviously we can see he does, 3.5 a game. But for Zion, he's not a primary ball handler. He's more of a post-up player. He'll catch the ball, he'll try to go to the rim, or he should be able to kick it out. He's averaging the exact same amount of turnovers, 3 a game, as Ja is, and he's not even a point guard. So I see something right there as a red flag, but I think Zion should be able to correct that in his career. An aspect of Ja's game that I feel is a little underrated is his defense, and he averages about 1 steal a game, which doesn't tell the whole story, but if you watch the games, Ja Morant does a very good job of one-on-one defending for someone who is undersized as a point guard. For Ja, we all see something that we think can be a superstar in the NBA, and for me, I feel like could be a franchise caliber player. He has exceptional court vision, almost like Ben Simmons type of court vision coming down the court. He's a great passer. He's shown that he doesn't back down in the clutch, which is also very important, as he blocked Kyrie, remember that one time, in the Grizzlies game when the Nets played the Grizzlies and Jay Crowder hit the game winner. He's an underrated shooter, which is also very important because out of college, many draft analysts said that Ja Morant might not be a good shooter in the NBA, and he's proven them wrong, shooting 37%, which is a little bit above NBA average from three. He also fits with the modern NBA game. Now, what that means really is he's an athletic point guard who can really do it all. He can play defense, he can facilitate, he can shoot. That's very important to have in the modern NBA. And also, finally, my last point about Ja is that he's working with much less than Zion is. If you think about this, Ja does have many players on this team averaging around 14 to 16 points. When you think about Jaren Jackson, you think about Jonas Valanciunas, you think about Dylan Brooks. Zion, meanwhile, Ja has 0 All-Stars and 0 players averaging 20 plus per game. Zion really has immense help on his team. When you think about Brandon Ingram, who is a breakout star this year, averaging around 24 points a game. You think about Drew Holiday, who is an all-star caliber point guard, has previously been an all-star for the Philadelphia 76ers. And think about J.J. Redick, also averaged 18 plus points per game back-to-back seasons with the Philadelphia 76ers, as well as players like Lonzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Derek Favors is very, very solid at center. So he has a great team to help him out. And that puts Zion in a good position to hopefully thrive, and he should be having a better record than Ja. However, that is clearly not the case. Although many people like to use the excuse that Zion has only played 19 games in the NBA, so the winning part of the teams cannot be held against him, I like to say that Zion, although he's played only 19 games, has only gone around 500 with a record of 10-9, whereas Ja, with the many games he's played already, he's got a 31-28 record with the Grizzlies in the games that he's played, with a considerably worse roster than the Pelicans have. Both play in the Western Conference, so that right there cannot be held against either of them. So now let's talk about my concerns for Zion, since many people that I know or people on this platform will probably be calling me a Zion hater after this video, which is completely not the case. I really think that Zion has a chance to be something crazy special in the NBA. But for me, the problem is that people hype him up, put these expectations on him that he has no chance of being right now. And I think people should just respect Zion and watch his game, enjoy it, but don't hype him up too much. So let's talk about my concerns. Zion, since going 4 for 4 in his NBA debut against the San Antonio Spurs from 3, has played 18 games in which he's only shot 8 attempts from the 3-point line, and he's gone 1 of 8. Now, that is not good. All right, we can all agree on that. Zion needs to be better from 3 if he wants to progress his game in the NBA. Now, many analysts and pundits will say that Zion, he shot well in college. He can do it in the NBA. We haven't seen it yet. So if you're saying that Zion has an all-around game, you're wrong because we have not seen that yet. Another thing is his injury history. Now, this man is 6'6", if we're going to go by the NBA's height listing, 6'6", 300 pounds. That is the heaviest person in the NBA outside of Taco Fall. And personally, I don't even believe he's 300 pounds. I think he's probably a little bit over 300 pounds, but that doesn't matter. He is moving at such a fast pace that I don't think that his body will be able to hold up through the rigors of an 82-game season, and we won't know that until we see him play an 82-game season, but I think that's very doubtful. The best case scenario for the Pelicans is probably going to be a Kawhi Leonard load management situation, but because of Zion's body, I just don't know how long it can hold up in the NBA. Something very good about Zion is his defensive rotations, and people turn those rotations into saying he's an elite defender, which he is not yet. Zion has produced many highlights by coming over on switches, blocking people from behind, and showing off his immense athleticism that both of these players actually have. But people have not seen that Zion is not a great one-on-one defender. He's about comparable to Ja in one-on-one defending, and I'd like to see Zion improve on his defending next year when the NBA returns. Again, I like both of these players, and I know that both of them will have solid NBA careers, but I personally feel like Ja will be the better player out of the two. I think that Ja, with the little help that he has on his team, has been able to show us that he can carry a team to that star-capable level in 3 to 4 years, and I definitely think that he will be an all-star as well as Zion next year. As for the rest of this video, thank you guys all for watching. I hope that you stay to watch more of our videos later. We will try to post every other day, if not every day. Please put down anything that you disagree with me. If you disagree with me, put it in the comments. I will be reading it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. And remember, BUZI Sports will be the home for all of the hottest debates, topics, and discussions throughout the world of sports, especially helping you with entertainment through this time of need.